Hello, and welcome back to the Life as a Fitness Instructor podcast. Before we start today's episode, I have a really small favour to ask. If you get value from this or you enjoy this, please do share on your socials and tag at Yogascape Official or at Lawn Marie Fitness. The reason I first started this podcast was because I wanted to be that friend on your headphones or your earbuds, someone who you could learn from, get inspiration from, but not just me, from all the other instructors that I interview and brand owners that I interview to give you ideas, but also to be that friend that I feel I never really had when I first started, somebody to turn to and someone to learn from, like what to not do and what to do. Anyway, it would be a huge, huge help to this podcast and a lot of other instructors if you could please share this on your socials. Anyway, today we have the amazing Anna Martin from Anna Martin Fitness and Always Moving Forwards. She talks to us all about her experience in the fitness industry, how she first started off teaching Zumba, which she didn't originally think she'd like, but actually loved, to being a choreographer for Clubbercise, which she still does today, and also brand owner of Always Moving Forward. She's had a lot of challenges through COVID and through various injuries. And she talks to us about how she's managed to overcome these and also what she's focusing on today, which is really important to her and I think is super important too. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this episode. And like I said, if you get value from it, you enjoy it, please do share on your socials and tag us in. Okay, here we go. Anna, very warm welcome to the Life as a Fitness Instructor podcast. It's great to have you here. Now, could you tell us a little bit about you? Tell us a bit about Anna for anyone who might not know of you yet.
Well, thank you very much for having me today. My name's Anna. I've been in Group X for about 15 years now, I think. And also PT and stuff. And a few years ago, I set up an instructor resource called AMF World, which I've been running in various forms for quite a long time, to be fair, but the current version is about 3 years old. So yeah, I call it 3.
Was that around the time of COVID then when you changed
Yeah,
it?
very poor decision actually, because it launched in the December and then we went into lockdown in the March. So that was a bit hard for filming and then all of that kind of stuff, trying to get the content together. But yeah, it was bad timing, but it worked out okay in the end. So
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, I've seen a lot of stuff from AMF World and it looks brilliant. I love all the little dance clips you put up.
oh, thank you. Yeah, we love a little dance.
Who doesn't? Who doesn't love a little wiggle? So today I'd love to chat all about kind of your experience in the fitness industry, what got you started in the industry to where you are now, any challenges you've come across on the way or any like standout moments. And then, where you're going to be going in the future, where you think you're going to take it all. So let's start at the very beginning. How did you get into the fitness industry in the first place, Anna?
I was teaching dance and dancing, and two of my friends had started to teach Zumba, and they said, you should teach it, you should teach it. And I was like, nah, I don't think so. And then I went down to one of their classes and I thought, yeah, actually, this is pretty fun. And it was so busy compared to how hard it was at the time to get people into dancing. I just thought, wow, they just get to, it's not because you're showing and going at the same time, aren't you? And instead of having to break it down and do all of this kind of stuff, I thought, wow, that looks like a lot of fun because you're getting to dance for the entire class. So yeah, I went on my Zumba course and then off the back of that, then ended up doing my ETM because I thought, maybe I need to do whatever this fitness qualification is. And Ian Baker had posted on the Zumba forum saying like, £100 off your ETM or whatever. And I thought, yeah, go on, let's just do it. So I did and drove to Swindon every weekend for about 5 weeks. And yeah, absolutely loved it. As soon as I tried his aerobics class, I was like, yeah, this is great. So yeah.
That's how it all began.
Yes. And
Yeah.
then obviously got into PT and all the other stuff off the back of that. So yeah, it's been an experience. It was quite good to swap from one to the other and see the difference as well between teaching dance and dance fitness, which I hadn't really thought about before. But yeah, it's been a fun ride.
Definitely. And I know you're so downplaying it there because you've done so much. So from your first experience with Zumba and finding that actually it was really fun and something definitely right up your street, which you didn't think it would be, where did you go to next? Did you just start to contact clubs and get classes, or did you go out in the community and do it on your own? How did you break out into the fitness industry, if you like?
My first class was a cover at Virgin Active, about 10 miles away from where I live. And I only knew 9 songs for Zumba, and you need about 16 for the class. So I did one twice or 3 times and hid it in different parts of the playlist. And then I did a like very loose freestyle battle, which lasted for 2 or 3 tracks to like long it out. And then off the back of that, then like got offered regular classes and learnt the rest of the playlist, obviously. But because I only just started learning it, I just thought, well, they've asked me, so I'm just gonna go and wing it. And then at least I've done a class and I know what it's like. So yeah, I just did it. And then yeah, did the whole gym circuit thing. So I guess while I was doing the main bulk of that, was probably teaching between about 20 to 25 hours a week. So that would have been a mixture of Zumba dance and then sort of slowly got into kind of more resistance stuff and things like that.
Yeah. So you were teaching 20 to 25 hours of fitness a week.
Yeah, fitness and
Gosh.
dance. Yeah,
Oh my
yeah,
gosh, that's so much. Do
that
you
was a
still
lot.
do you still do that now, or have you
No,
reduced quite a lot?
yeah, I do 8 classes now. And they're not all like participative, like some of them it's like barbell stuff and kind of glute training classes and things. So I only have to do 3 hours dance fitness a week, and then the rest of it's PT and kind of resistance stuff. So yeah, I balanced it out because I loved it, but I was absolutely battered doing all those classes, and I just remember being so exhausted, and every day I'd finish and my ankles and my knees felt like someone had had a go at them with a hammer. And I just thought, because I've got scoliosis as well, I thought you've got to be a little bit sensible because you need to keep the wear and tear to a decent level over this time.
Yeah. I'm sure you've all been there where it's one kind of like the excitement of getting another class, but then
Yeah,
two, also to try and make a living out of it. You do just say yes, you become a bit of a yes man, don't you? That's
massively.
really interesting to about your scoliosis. How have you managed teaching in the fitness industry with your scoliosis? And could you explain what scoliosis is for anyone who doesn't know as well?
So scoliosis is a lateral curvature of the spine. I have two, so I look straight, but inside I'm not. Um, and that it can cause some problems depending on the degree of the curve. But for me, in terms of fitness, it was a good change because I had been having some quite bad muscle spasms in terms because I was running a lot and doing a lot of dancing. And I'm not saying that dancing makes it worse, it doesn't, but I think I was just overdoing the high impact stuff without doing any resistance training at all. So for me, the journey into fitness helped me balance out the two. So even though I was teaching 22 hours a week or whatever it was, because I was also doing a bit of resistance stuff and it wasn't quite as taxing on the body in terms of if you do a dance fitness class, it's sort of in the realms of kind of your capacity. Whereas I feel like I pushed myself quite hard to do the dancing how everyone else was doing it. And possibly for me, it was like maybe a little bit too much. So finding that balance in fitness was huge. And yeah, it's made it a lot easier for me to like manage my pain and all of that kind of thing. So it was definitely positive. But it can, if you have a bad day, it can be a bit of a drag on the old teaching. But I guess everyone has got injuries, haven't they? We're all doing the same job. So,
Everyone has their own little niggles.
yes.
It's amazing though how you found that balance now, and it's so true that resistance training is incredibly important. I think a lot of people are starting to realize that now, whereas in the past it was all very much, if you're not jumping and you're not sweating, it's not a workout. But I think
Yeah.
more educated now, we understand. But no, well done you for really working around that, and also, being so resilient in the fact that you do have a spinal condition, you do have an injury, yet working around it and saying, no, that's not going to stop me. I'm going to keep doing what I love doing. I think that's really, really, yeah, that's really amazing.
Why, thanks.
So from there, you said that you were doing PT and you started teaching less hours. Where did you start to branch out into AMF World and teaching other instructors?
So I started working for Clubbercise. I'm gonna I did my course, and then Claire came to my class, and off the back of that, then I ended up doing choreography for them, and then ended up running the training courses. So I feel like it gave me such a good overview of how to put together like the website for access and like display the resources and all of that kind of thing, and the logistics about managing a website that's obviously got content and all of that kind of stuff. Um, and like you mentioned when we were chatting before, when I'd started to teach resistance stuff, I couldn't find anywhere to go to find things, because I could follow like a bodybuilding coach or someone and then try to adapt it and find different ways of managing it in my class. But in terms of the ideas on putting together freestyle resistance stuff, I did find that quite taxing and laboriously going through technique stuff and things like that. So that was where it originally came from, was because I wanted to have one place where people could just go to find technique, but technique that worked in a studio or a hall, rather than, oh, well, I don't have access to a lat pull down or a cable machine. So now how am I going to do that? And how am I going to change this to fit with a studio barbell set? Because you can't deadlift from the floor properly with a barbell and things like that. So it came kind of from like working through that myself, and then thinking, right, we'll do this. And then off the back of that, it spun into like the other content that's on there, like aerobics and bits and pieces and of other kind of like genres. So yeah, it was through that really, because I didn't really know where to look for myself when I'd first started, and so it was trying to make that for other people.
Yeah. So now it's this huge online resource that instructors can just go and tap into anytime and pick up different bits of choreography to take to their classes and teach their participants.
Yeah, so yeah, complete mixture of choreography for different stuff. We do like flow, combat, all that kind of thing. But then as well, yeah, a lot of resistance stuff to try to kind of bridge that gap between what you learn on your base qualification versus what you then need when you're in a studio. If you're not in a gym, for example, or somewhere that's going to pay for you to do your like license with a pump style class or something like that.
Mm. Yeah, that's really good. And yeah, just for everyone listening right now, me and Anna were talking about when you first get into the industry, sometimes there isn't that person or the resources to turn to, and you just feel a little bit lost and a little bit alone, which was my whole purpose of doing this podcast in the first place. And yeah, why you've made your resource, Anna. So I think that's amazing. Um, so you mentioned right at the very start that you had a bit of a transformation with AMF World, and that happened just before COVID. Can you tell us
Yeah.
a little bit about that and the challenges you faced creating your brand?
There were a lot, to be fair. So the first time that I launched it, I think I'm going to guess it was about 6 years ago now. And I didn't have my message clear. That was the thing I was trying to do. I don't even know how I thought I was going to do it, but I was trying to create content for participants and instructors at the same time. So I was like, oh, well, everyone needs the same stuff. Like it's going to be taught to participants at the end of the day anyway. So kind of do it like that, and then everyone can use it. And the logistics of the way I tried to design the website and all that kind of stuff didn't work either. So I ended up putting that on hold and then revisited it, talking about it with Ian and Natalie. And we thought, actually, there are different ways to like create this content now. So I, me and my business partner at the time, Carly, we got a web designer to build the website, which possibly was an error, just because it was so expensive. And actually, having now rebuilt it on Wix is a lot easier to manage for me in terms of you just update it whenever you want. I didn't need any help to do it. And building like the access to the members area, how you want it to flow. It was a lot easier. I'm not obviously not knocking having a professional web designer because it probably looked better when they were making it, but it was like expensive to manage for a small business.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's been running for about 2 years now, the second version that I built rather than the one that the web designer originally built. Yeah, I mean, graphically, it's probably not quite so pretty, but I feel like functionally for me, it works better. Even just being able to go in and change your own copy at the drop of a hat rather than send it to someone and things like that.
Oh, definitely. It's so handy. And I think that goes for any instructors who have their own website. You know, if you teach online or even if you teach out in the community, you're just using it to sell your weekly class on a Monday night or whatever it is. It's so important to be able to go in and just change something if you need to. Or like you said, how you want it to flow, how you've got this idea in your head, and sometimes trying to portray that to somebody else is really, really difficult.
Yeah. And working like workarounds, like people need to submit their certificate and I need to be able to see it and have access to it, check it, download it, file it, all of that kind of stuff. How is that? Even tiny little things like that ended up being quite difficult to work on a system that hadn't designed and I didn't know how to use. Whereas I feel like because I've been using Wix for, I don't know, 12 years, you sort of understand how they've made it and how it works. Yeah. And also because it is just me doing the back end, having made it, now I know 100% how it works. Whereas I feel like if you're a huge business and you've got like 10 people working for you, it probably makes a lot more sense to have someone else make it. But we're only tiny. So it was, yeah, it's probably a bit easier.
Yeah, definitely. So I know you said you're only tiny there. Is it just you, or have you got a little team behind you? How does it work? How does it work in the background?
So the background stuff is just me. So occasionally I like get different people in to help with stuff if there's like a huge admin thing that needs doing or something. But for the most part, the website kind of runs itself because it's all automated in terms of purchases and things like that. So I don't really have to do anything when people sign up, all the emails go out and they get access immediately. So it's literally making the content and getting it on there that needs doing. And I feel like that's probably just a lot of it is easier done. I'm there filming myself or Natalie anyway, or Ian or whoever. So then it doesn't take that much time in terms of like quickly chopping up a video and shoving it on.
Do you have proper content creation days where you all get together and you have a full day of filming or a full weekend? How does that look?
So I film every Tuesday anyway, because I have to produce content for this website and my other site as well. So I do 3 hours every Tuesday. And then like whoever else I'm filming, we just do it when people are free. But I always have Fridays free anyway, because we do all the stuff for Clubbercise on Fridays in terms of like rehearsals and things like that. So I never work on a Friday so that I can always fit in fun stuff. So then that works quite well with filming other people as well. Like,
And I just want to add that today's Friday, so this is the fun thing right now.
it is the fun thing.
We're just having a chat.
Yes.
It's great. Before we started the podcast, we were talking about what your average week looks like. Can you explain what your average week looks like ish, if you have an average week. So a week in the life of Anna.
Yeah, a week in the life. It's not that exciting, sadly, but yeah, Monday I have an office day, and then I teach in the evening because it takes me until at least lunchtime not to be moody on a Monday. So I don't think PT clients pay for that. So I don't PT on a Monday morning, and then I get all my office stuff done. Then I've grown a personality, so then I go and teach. Tuesdays all day PT filming and classes. So that's about 13 hours back to back, I reckon. And then Wednesday, half PT, half office, no class. Thursday, PT, office class. Friday, nothing. And Saturday morning, I work, and then that's it.
So you give yourself at least a day and a half at the weekend off.
Yeah, definitely. Because I feel like I didn't used to. I used to try and work then Saturday afternoon and more admin on Sunday. But I feel like you get to a point with life where you really just need to give your brain some space. It makes you more productive when you do sit down to do something as well.
It's so true. I always find that when I go away on holiday, I have so many ideas. The first 2 days, I'm definitely just decompressing. And by day three, four, I'm just getting inspiration for the most random things. And I come home with so many ideas. But it is true. When you're wearing so many hats, it's really hard to focus on the business because you're so busy working in it. You just need to take that time away, don't you, sometimes? And yeah,
It's
having
so
that
true.
proper break at the weekend.
Yeah, so true. Just and like you said, just as soon as you give your brain space to be creative, then magical things happen. But it's so difficult for that to happen when you're thinking about all of the other things you've got to do, like admin wise or editing or whatever it is, that just allowing yourself time to let your brain calm down. And then you're like, oh, I've just have 4 ideas for choreography or tracks or social media or whatever it is that you wouldn't have had because you were so busy like trying to fit everything in. So it does make a difference.
It's really true. I always find in the moments where I have to stop, for example, when I'm driving the car or I'm in the shower, random choreography ideas are coming to my head like, oh, that's
Yeah.
a really good one. It's like washing my hair to the music
Yeah.
in my
Yeah.
head. But yeah, it's true. You just need that time to stop, the time to slow down. And that leads us really nicely into obviously you're so busy. How do you look after you? What do you do to slow down and look after yourself as a fitness professional?
Um, I think for me, which sounds a bit counterintuitive, really, but the first thing that I always prioritize every week is my own training. So going to lift in the gym. So that's I make sure I do that a minimum of 4 times and then like try to get 5 in. And that helps me feel so much calmer in terms of stress management and things like that. So that's made a massive difference and also helps me to get less backache, which was obviously quite a big stressor before. So that's definitely something. I also do quite a lot of yoga, just like to calm and also the breathing, which I find massively chills me out when I'm, especially if I'm like going sort of hell for leather all the time. That's a really, really calming thing. And then just doing absolutely nothing to do with fitness. And that's the other thing, is just being like, no, I love it, but you've got to have other hobbies. So sort of trying to find things outside of sweating um that make me feel happy, like the people, and then bits and pieces like doing Spanish. I've started to learn like bit of music stuff, things like that, just that have got nothing to do with our body.
Yeah, I totally get that. You do, you just need that time and space away from it. When it's your hobby, your passion, and your job, your career,
Mm.
it becomes your life. So you just need something totally different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I this is related, but earlier on this year, I was so busy with everything going on and launching Yogascape and doing Laundry Fitness, the Honors Online Squad. I I mean I live and breathe it anyway, but my husband challenged me to half an hour a day on something relaxing, downtime that wasn't fitness. And I thought, I was like, what am I going to do? I'll listen to a podcast. No, because they're all fitness or business development podcasts. Like, what am I going to do? And that was the moment where I was like, okay, yeah, kind of get what he means here.
Yeah, it does, because it becomes all consuming because you love it,
Yeah.
but then your brain never gets a break from it. Um, and yeah, like you said, I was exactly the same. Someone said to me, "Oh, what are your hobbies?" And I couldn't think of a single thing that wasn't related to work, even loosely. It was all something that either could be paid for in some way, or was feeding into something that I might get paid for or whatever. And I thought, God, you really need to get a bit of a grip, love. Something to do.
Oh, it is good though, because you can just see how passionate you are. And that is really good. But it's also fab that you've found that way to relax and take yourself out of it and learn Spanish. That's great. Is that
Yeah,
Duolingo?
yeah, virtually. Yeah. Yeah, it's just, but also it forces you to take things like a lunch break, or rather than sort of half cook, half work, float about a bit, and then never really get any actual break, or have an ineffective break that then turns into a longer one because you haven't had any time. So that's what I'm trying to do at the moment. I have like Spanish lesson at lunchtime, or, music lesson, or whatever it is, like something that's fits in the day. And then you think, oh, I did that today.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's quite exciting.
Time blocking.
Yeah.
That's the best thing. Yeah. All creative stuff as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Exciting. So, what is in the pipeline for you, Anna, and AMF World? Where are you wanting to go? Maybe in the short term, like this year, anything exciting coming up? I feel like you might be in a few festivals this year. And then kind of beyond, where do you see it all going in the next few years?
um this is a bit of a tough one for me, because I've sort of almost done the opposite over the last few months, and I feel like I think I was so focused on work all the time, and I've almost unfocused myself, if I'm honest too. So I don't really know is the answer. Like, things are ticking along and they're fine. Obviously got some great events and stuff going on this year and things like that. But yeah, I've sort of taken the last few months, I guess about 5 months, to just sit and appreciate where things are and enjoy them, instead of, normally I'm almost thinking like 10 steps ahead, and I don't necessarily maximally enjoy what's going on at that moment, because I'm thinking, yeah, tick, done that, right, let's look at this. And I thought, no, let's just wind it back and sort of dial into everything that I'm doing at the moment. And then also, that's given me a little bit more of a perspective on the parts of it that I love, 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 and then maybe the parts of it that I might want to ship off to someone else. So, but like, it's a bit of a transitional phase at the moment, just seeing what's going to happen in terms of like workload and things like that. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Are we allowed to know the parts that you love and the bits that you
you can.
don't?
Yeah, I love making stuff and I love being with people. And so I like filming it, I like making the stuff, I like filming other people, I like being on like Clubbercise boot camp, teaching my classes, doing the PT, but I don't love the marketing or the social media particularly, or that kind of stuff. So it's working out, and I have tried before, but it's really difficult to give your tone and the way that you write and speak to other people. And I just feel like if I've then got to write it anyway, I may as well post it. But it's sort of trying to work out how to split those things, because it's not that I don't. I like being on social media to chat to people and interact with them. I just don't like making the posts that much, if I'm honest. It's
I feel like sometimes it can be quite all-consuming, can't it? Getting all the posts out and all the content. And sometimes it can feel like a major deal, particularly if you're sitting down to schedule it all, I think. I did find that at one point. So I took myself off to this is gonna sound really lame. I took myself off to Morrison's Cafe and my laptop, and it's actually great in there. The food is fab and it's reasonable.
Morrison's need to sponsor you. This is a really good ad.
I should actually take a clip of this and send it off.
Yeah.
But I was sat in there, just surrounded by a load of, I don't know if it was like, and I'm not trying to disrespect old age pensioners here, but this is what I was kind of surrounded by. If you picture the scene, they all came in for their fish and chips on Friday. And I was like, this is amazing. So I sat there and actually really enjoyed the experience as opposed to the content creation
Yeah.
experience around it. So there's a little tip for you for the meantime until you find, Anna number 2 to write all your stuff for you.
Yeah. Get myself down to Morrison's. You know what? It is sometimes just working in a different environment that gives you a bit of a boost, doesn't it?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. And sometimes that can spark off that creativity as well if you're just in a different environment. 100%. But I
Yeah.
think it was really, really important what you said there, Anna, and thank you for being so honest as well. So I think way too often we're always thinking about the next thing and the next. Something amazing happens, like you might win an award, and it's like, oh right, yeah, cool, won that one. When's the next one?
Yeah.
You just need to think, okay, like let's celebrate this moment, celebrate how far we've come, and actually enjoy what we've got. Just being more mindful of what you do have as opposed to what you don't. And okay, it's great to have things to be working towards. That's brilliant, but it is also really, really important just to see what's in front of you. So thank you so, so much for coming on the podcast today and sharing all of this.
No problem. Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, me too. I could just keep chatting forever.
Me too.
But I just want to say before you go, if anyone is interested in finding out more about you, what you do, and AMF World, where can they go to, please?
If you are interested, we head over to AMF World. No, that's such a lie. AMF.world is the website, and we're on all social media as always moving forward. AMF. So yeah, come and chat. We would love to meet you.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much again.